Joey and Friendz here to save the day. Talking about dolls and making our own way. Talking to visionaries, dreamers, and kin. Anyone can play here cause we all fit in. From Darcy to Body, from Dawn to Glimmer, we talk about world as the lights go dimmer. Follow us to a playground filled with stories and let us entertain you with tales of our glories.
Hi, everybody. I'm Joey Dollmaker Versaw, and I am here with Dani of Dani Darkspell. Hi, Dani.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Great.
I'm like looking at this display that you have up above you, and I'm trying to make some things out. It looks like yeah, oh, I love the car and the case and stuff. That's very cool.
Yeah, that's the original Barbie one. And then funny enough, oh, I didn't put it back there, but I have one that I got super cheap that I actually customized into like a blue one, which is a
Ooh.
Barbie car. And I bought this one for like, it's minty for like 100. And then I got the same one virtually kind of mint for like $20.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
This display right here is my own creation doll. So like specifically, these are all Lily like dolls, except for the yellow one back there.
Yeah.
That's my newest like creations and stuff. But like this whole shelf is just my own personal creation. So I like collect my own dolls basically.
Yeah, me too. That's awesome. That's awesome. What got you into dolls? Like as a child, were you into dolls? Were you interested in them?
So I always liked Barbie. I think as much of us grew up, but I never grew out of liking them. And I grew up in like the 90s. So like my family is very Latino. My father's Cuban, and it was very frowned upon. Obviously, like
Mhm.
the culture and everything like that. We were not allowed to look at it. We're not allowed to play with it. But I actually remember the very first Barbie I ever played with, which I still don't own, because my father at the time he was doing like I think he was like doing a warehouse or something like that for like toys. So he would always come home with like a van of like toys everywhere. And when I was alone, I snuck in there one time and I took a Barbie from it and I opened it up and I used to play with it by myself and I would hide it. Don't know whatever happened to that Barbie. I was probably like around 4 or 5 years old, but
Right.
that was Rappin' Rockin' Barbie actually.
Oh my gosh,
And
that's so funny.
that was my very first Barbie I ever played with, and I still have not bought her new in box, which I'm still waiting to do.
I've had her multiple times, and I think I really love like the last time I had her, a friend of mine was selling her at the doll show, and I was just like, oh, I love her so much because I have memories from when she came out. I think I was like 13 maybe when she came out, maybe 12, 13. But I remember seeing in the store, and I remember seeing that she had the Teen Talk face sculpt, which was so unusual, and the whole little pushing the button.
Yeah,
Yeah, the like little I think I pushed it like a billion times just listening to the little beat or whatever. But
yeah,
yeah, she's a super fun doll.
yeah. So I'm still waiting to the day until I get her. But like, throughout my whole childhood, I never owned Barbie. I never had dolls. Not until I think I was like in high school and middle school. I was really into anime. I was into like a lot of animes and like action figures and stuff like that. And that's how I got introduced to BJDs, ball jointed dolls.
Yeah.
And that was my leeway to convince my mom that they're not dolls. These are Japanese, things like that. They're like anime characters. So that was my secret way of having a doll without, coming out as gay or something.
Right.
Um, Unfortunately, as well, they were like back then they were still expensive. I think I spent $600 to $700 on my first BJD. And that was my first leeway in collecting, I guess you could say. I was still in high school. And then, I mean, it was off and on because like um owning dolls as a guy, especially like I'm 6 foot, full of tattoos and stuff, it was just like effeminate and stuff like that. So like I was off and on with collecting, and not until I just stopped caring, I guess, and fully adult within my 20s is when I was starting to actually stray away from BJDs and actually start doing dolls like Barbie and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And predominantly throughout most of my life doing collecting was all modern. I never actually did vintage like 60s and 70s and so on. Not until I think pretty recently. I think 2023 is when I first started. But prior to that, I was always doing modern dolls. And as an artist, I was always doing customizations, like, kind of like what Hexion does on YouTube and stuff, where I was making my own characters. I was making like Medusa and making like a made to move with like a snake body and stuff like that. So I was doing a lot of cool things like that. And then I got introduced to vintage dolls, and then that blew up.
Right. I saw your Jessica Rabbit, the one that you used the Toy Story Bo Peep for,
Oh yeah.
which I loved
That's
because I was like, oh, what an unusual, face sculpt to think of to use, and it worked out great, you know?
Yeah, that was a long time ago. I think it's been like 4 years, I think, since I've done that one. Because I love Jessica Rabbit. So I have a thing for like not just villainous women, I guess you could say, but very women of like that, like, I don't know how to explain it, but like stature and power, like Michelle Pfeiffer from
Yeah.
Catwoman, Elvira, Morticia, Jessica Rabbit, very strong women who are beautiful and just like, they take control themselves. So like that was always something I had like this obsession with. And probably because I wanted to be them. I
I
don't know.
think I think that's the same for a lot of queer kids growing up, queer males growing up, because I've had the same conversation where, growing up, I was also drawn to those women, and like Kathleen Turner, who was the voice of Jessica Rabbit. But before that, I was into Romancing the Stone and Jewel of the Nile, and like I loved,
Yeah.
Indiana Jones, the female characters in his movies, like Willie Scott in Temple of Doom and stuff. There was something about this beautiful female that was so empowering.
That's
And
the
I've
word right
had the
there.
discussion before because my dolls like my Miss Mary, very buxom and and whatnot. And I've had conversations with people talking about over sexualization or about how females might look or feel about certain things like that. And I'm like, well, to me, that was power. Like, to me, that was the ultimate power. A woman like Marilyn Monroe who could walk into a room and every head turns and stops, and that to me was power, So I really connected and embraced that myself, I think there's something in our little gay hearts that
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, that's exactly Marilyn Monroe is a real life, and that's not a character. That's a good example because it's not just like movie characters, but also real life people
yeah,
like Marilyn Monroe, or what was her name, James Mansfield or something. Like there's plenty of people who like are very like, I see it as like a superpower, and they don't use it like for men. They do it for themselves, kind of thing. And
yeah,
like as a little gay boy, that's who I wanted to be. I wanted to be a little Marilyn Monroe.
I
I
love
wanted to
that.
be a very sexy woman. And basically, I mean, I started creating my dolls too, but like my dream was to always create my own doll brand and make my own dolls, which like it's a fruition now. But what I've always wanted to do, funny enough, and it kind of correlates with like my name, Dani Darkspell. Like I have a very like dark aesthetic, you guess you could say, which is like, like let's say like Michelle Pfeiffer from Catwoman, that very like kind of like BDSM, kind of like sexy kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like I've always wanted to make my doll. And funny enough, my doll that I first wanted to create was more like a modern doll, like Integrity. But I didn't want it to be like a fashion doll, more like a voluptuous, curvy, very sexy kind of woman doll. Like something that's not for kids, that's for an adult. Kind of
You're
like
speaking
the
to the
beauty doll.
choir.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So that's what I wanted to do. And but the thing is, I couldn't 3D sculpt. I'm completely self-taught in everything I know. I've been an
me too.
artist pretty
Yeah.
much all my whole life, and just until recently, and I'm still learning, is like 3D sculpting and stuff like that. So like, I've been teaching myself how to do everything from scratch. And I have yet to do the modern doll, which is funny because I kind of did it recently, where I made
I
that
saw pictures. Yeah.
yeah, that fully jointed doll, which I should have brought it, but I don't have it next to me. But she's like fully, it's like a small miniature 1/6 scale BJD, but she has the aesthetic of what I wanted. Like finally, I can do the doll that I wanted. But that was like the doll that I've always wanted to do was like, sexy, powerful women dolls.
Yeah. And I mean, it's so crazy. I really want to focus with this channel on the community. So I want to be talking to, I'm talking to people that are big, really well-known people, and then people that are have been in the background for years, or people that are like new and up and coming and whatnot. And it's so crazy how technology has really changed everything for everybody because I was born in 1978 and I started doll making when I was about 16. And there was no YouTube, there was no finding tutorials online, there was none of that. And so, I was sculpting out of hard wax and I was like making silicone molds in my kitchen and I was, doing all that. And it's so crazy because now, we're seeing these kids that are literally just, that are new to it, but already what took me 30 years to get to, they're already there. And so
Yeah,
it's like scary, but like amazing and it's fascinating. I don't know where we'll all end up with everything, but it's pretty cool. I mean, for me, it saved me so much time. Of course, because before you had to resculpt everything if you're going to do a new character, if you're going to do whatever. And now with 3D sculpting, you can pop that face or that body and be like, I want to make a bigger character and I'm going to take this face and totally manipulate it and turn it so you can kind of recycle because everything's saved for you. Whereas before, you couldn't really do that. You had to start
yeah,
all over again with every new fresh
yeah.
project.
Yeah, so I have experience with that because like when I was in high school when I was doing the BJDs and everything like that, I've been painting faces like for dolls like since I was like 17 or something. So like I've been doing it for a long time. But I remember back then, there was I think YouTube was just starting out. There was like no tutorials or anything like that. So especially 3D printing or anything like that. So to make your own BJD back then, you had to hand sculpt it out of clay,
Yeah.
which is what I was doing. I was making my own dolls make them out of clay, and then like I just never got around to learning how to make like 3D how to make silicone molds and stuff to cast them in resin. So like I was just making my dolls out of clay, and then like I was finding out the perfect clays that are strong enough and stuff like that. So like I had to do it the old-fashioned way where I had to mold it with my hands. So like I had to learn anatomy and everything, and just like is it good that I had a artist point of view where I have good eye for anatomy and stuff because like making them from scratch, like from clay, was like really hard.
Oh, it's really hard. Yeah, it's really difficult.
Yeah.
And I mean, even going from that to sitting in front of a computer with a mouse and being like, looking at my screen, being like, okay, I'm gonna teach myself how to sculpt with a mouse. Like, this is a whole new, I'm used to hands-on, and now I'm like
Yeah.
trying to visually like, do this and it's crazy. But the nice thing is that, it's all mathematically perfect. Like, you can, with when I was hand sculpting, I would always do that mirror check that a friend had said, make sure to do the
Yeah.
mirror check. And I was like, what's that? And they told me, and I go and take my sculpt into the mirror and I'm like, like it's hideous. Um, and then you can really see how one side is not the same as the
Yeah.
other side and whatnot. But that's the nice thing about doing it in 3D is we always it's like painting eyebrows. You get the first one and you're like, this is perfect, this is beautiful. Then you go to the second one, you're like, fuck, like wipe it off, start over
Yeah.
again. And with 3D it's like, oh, you just do that one perfect and then flip it over to the other side and voila.
Hmm.
uh
Yeah. Makes it a lot easier, I will say. But
yeah.
but like I had to like because what I started, so the whole reason why I even got into 3D printing, funny enough, is because I was after the specific Lily doll, the Build Lily doll.
Yeah.
And in my life, I never thought I would be able to own one because they're several $1,000s and they're also very rare to come by. So I was just like, in my life, I don't think I'm ever going to get her. But if I can 3D print her, sculpt her, make her, I can make my own. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I will spend the $600 for my machine. If I can just print one and make one that looks like an authentic Lily, I'd be happy. That was the whole thing. So I started with filament printing, and then from that, I was learning how to like smooth it and stuff, which is like very difficult, by the way, to
Yeah.
smooth out filament. I even used like a paste and everything like that, and then I sent it to James Mansfield, who was on RuPaul. She's one of my friends. I sent them like all of my filament printed lilies, and then from there, I had to self-teach myself how to do resin printing, which was a whole other thing because I broke 3 printers figuring out how to 3D print. It's a good thing you always get the warranty because I broke it 3 times.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So through that, that's how I started learning to do my Lily dolls. And then I was just like, you know what? I want to perfect her and get better at it. And I'm very OCD with like a perfectionist when it comes to my painting because, Lily in specific is always hand painted. So she's going to have a lot of imperfections from like the 50s and 60s, like the way that she was painted. Um, I have the hardest time trying to do imperfect work because I'm like a perfectionist. Like the whole point of why people like her is they want one eyebrow like this and one eyebrow like that because it looks like different and it makes
Wow.
it look authentic. But like, no, I'm like, I have to make it look factory. I have a thing with trying to make the best I can to try to make it look factory. And I have to learn to appreciate the imperfections of what makes the doll, perfect.
And yeah, and you will, and it comes like I was the same way. I started out really early on painting vintage dolls or repainting vintage dolls and kittles and all that. And so I really had this like mind frame of screenings. So I was painting screenings when I was painting them, even though it's by hand, it was very meticulous and everything like matched and, whatnot. And then you have someone like Julian Kalinowski who has that like effervescent carnival style of painting that's very just natural and quick and fluid, and he just is so good at it. And it took me a long time to try to like break free of that like control, because it's
Yeah.
like you have this control of I want it to be perfect, but you have to like let go and just be like, here's a brow, there's
Yeah.
a black brow, it's a little, So what was your like inspirations? What really inspired you on your journey to be a doll artist, to be working with vintage, looking dolls, Willy, which is, when I was younger, nobody knew who Willy was, especially I mean in the US. Like nobody there was no talk of Willy, and it actually wasn't until like maybe 2013 or something when I was on Flickr and had lots of friends from Europe and Nav who makes a Nook had a huge collection of Willy, and that's when I saw them for the first time and was like, "Oh, I really love her because she's so freakishly odd,
Yeah.
and interesting, But so what inspired you and got you to be interested in this?
Well, like I said, in 2023 is when I started collecting like the vintage Barbie, and then previously I was experienced with like making the custom modern dolls, and that's when I started becoming more expert. I wouldn't want to say expert, but like I started doing the restoring of vintage Barbies, where I came up with some of my own techniques, like using like 3D printed resin to fix like the nipped ears and stuff like that with skin matching, so you don't have to use clear resins and stuff. Um, and perfecting like the eyes and stuff. So doing those faces is what helped me a lot with making like the Lily face. And my journey to perfect Lily was done. And I felt like I wasn't done making dolls and I didn't want to just continuously do Lily dolls. So that's when I wanted to do something different, which is like why last year I came out with my Elling dolls, which these are the new batch, by the way. But like you can see, like I was making like my own 1960s, Austin Powers Fembot kind of aliens and stuff like that. So like I wanted to do something different, bring Lily to the modern age. And then I wanted different characters. Obviously, I don't want to just do Lily. So then I went into my 3D program and I was just like, what if I try sculpting Wildebras? I don't have one in person. So the thing is, I have to base everything I do off of like Google Images, you
Mhm.
know, which is kind of hard to do. So I actually reached out to Nav, who is also my friend, and he sent me a picture of like the profile at each angle just so I can get like a rough idea of what the Wildebras looks like. And that's how I did the Wildebras doll. And then I also didn't want her, gorilla-like body because it's very unflattering with the
Yeah.
long arms and stuff. So what I did is I had the idea I already have the lily body, but I thought, if I can just modernize it to be more like the Wildebra, where I sculpted the hands to be like, like how she has them. I sculpted actual feet and stuff so she can actually wear shoes.
I love
And
that.
then obviously I sculpted the face. And then the thing is with resin, there's no way of doing like a rooted head. So I was just like, how am I gonna do this doll? Because I don't want to do just ponytails because it'll just look like Lily, but with a with a different face, with a ponytail. So I was like, what if I just do like a fashion queen version of the Wildebra doll, where I can just make, little wigs for them and something. And then I wanted to do my own style because I have a specific style of like how I like to paint faces sometimes. And I usually like the super like hunty kind of face. So I was just like, I changed the way I did her eyes and stuff, and then I bumped in these lashes that I had in my stock, and then I just started giving them like actual lashes and stuff.
I love
And I
it.
actually liked the way that it came out. And I was just like, okay, so I mean, the thing is, I wanted to bring a vintage doll, but make it modern or make it mod, do something different to it instead of just making like a reproduction of it. So I wanted to do something different, and that's how I came up with the Wildebra dolls.
Had you heard of, I don't know if I'm butchering his name, but Vasily, Vasily. He's been,
Sounds
he's
familiar.
he never like started making dolls, but he had taken a Willy years ago and then put her. He did a 3D face like he had sculpted, or I'm not sure. There's a little bit of 3D involved, but he gave her a silkstone articulated body with the Willy head, and then just is really into photography with that doll. And so he's been doing that for a long time and got a huge following just by his photography of Willy because she's such a
Nice.
dynamic, interesting character.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever seen those before. I have to like look that up.
Yeah, like I said, I'm probably butchering his name. I think it's like Vasily or something like that. But yeah, you should look at them. They're it's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, like since I've made my doll account, I've made some friends and some great people in the community. But there's still so many people who I don't know.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
still
same.
relatively new.
Yeah.
So, and I'm very much a homebody and I'm very like, shy and kind of like a loner. So like I like to create my art and share it, but I need to learn to like actually talk to and meet new people and stuff because
Are you a
one of my
Cancer?
core values. My birthday is actually on Saturday. I'm a Gemini.
Oh, okay. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
That's awesome. So, where do you think that you like see yourself projected into the future? What would you like to be doing?
Running Mattel. I'm just kidding.
Mattel,
Um,
really? Not MGA?
so so I don't think I'll ever be able to. Oh, I don't want to say that, but like, goals and dreams are different. My dream is to own and run like my own doll thing, my
Yeah.
own doll brand. Instead of doing recreations of dolls, I want to create my own, make one from scratch and, actually produce them. But like making everything from home as my own little factory is a little bit difficult. But my projection in life is actually owning a storefront I don't want to do the whole 9 to 5 job anymore. I rather do that for my own self and actually have a storefront. And my dream is to actually, because I live in South Florida and like down here, it's like there's no doll stuff. There's plenty of doll collectors and people who live down here, but there's nowhere to really go for like doll collectors or like
You don't have
even artists
shops
like
there?
us. Not really, not for dolls.
Oh, because we
We
don't
have
have
thrift stores,
anything.
but
Yeah, we don't have very much of anything in the Northwest here in Oregon, but I swear I so many doll shops, Florida, Florida, Florida. Uh,
Orlando.
oh, yeah. But you could
Everything is in
drive,
Orlando.
you could take a trip. Yeah.
That's 4 hours for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah.
like we have doll shows in Florida, but they're in Orlando or Bradenton, Florida, and that's all like 4 to 5 hours away from me. I'm in South Florida, close like to like Miami, and we have zero doll shows. I don't think we've. I mean, the Barbie Fest that just happened in Fort Lauderdale. That's the only doll thing that we had really down here. Other than that, what I've gone to are like they're like I would say toy shows or like comic shows where
Hmm.
like it's just a variety of toys and then Barbie will just be in there, but it's not like a doll thing
Right,
or vintage
right.
dolls. So like for like dolls, especially vintage Barbie and stuff, that doesn't really shows doesn't really exist down here. And to even find dolls in a store that are like used, like would be thrift stores. And even then, I would say 9 times out of 10 thrift stores down here don't sell dolls; they just sell stuffed animals. So like
Right.
it's really hard, or antique malts, which we only have two. So like it's really hard to find that down here. So
Maybe you
my
should
thing
start
is
your
like,
own show with your friends, like, or like, get a doll club started and get people that are, that are collectors in the area, and then like, maybe start a show or something, and then you've got it right there.
yeah, that'd be great if I actually knew anybody in person. But like, I don't know any friends down here. All of my doll friends are like in other countries, like Oregon or something. But like down here, like I'm sure there are doll collectors because every time I'm gone to like let's say Target for the Chase Midge, plenty of people ask for them, and I'm like, who are these people, and why don't I know them? Like like
Right.
I there's plenty of doll collectors down here. I just don't know them, and I think most of them are like modern ones, like Monster High or something. There are vintage doll collectors down here because I've even bought off of eBay people who sell their dolls and like they ship locally. But like I just don't know them. I don't know how to meet them other than my Instagram. But like my Instagram, like I don't have that many followers, so like I'm not super well known yet. So like for me to reach out, like I have to come up with like a meetup.com or something like where you can like meet other doll collectors. But it would be great to start my own doll show in South Florida, like a Sherry's
Yeah.
down here kind of thing. That'd be
Abs-
awesome.
yeah, no, I think that would be amazing. Going back to your parents, and how that dynamic was when you were a child, and not being able to have dolls, which is the same story for a lot of us queer kids. I had the same thing growing up. How are they? When you came out with the doll thing, and just like I'm doing it, and this is what I'm doing. How are they with that?
Well, where my mom is now compared to how it was when I first started was definitely different. When I first came out with it, she just kept on giving me looks and stuff like that. The whole like, why are you into that? She constantly thinks it was a waste of money. She's like, why are you spending your money on that? You're just wasting a lot of money on these dolls that are just like toys or something. And sometimes she says that now, like I'll go out shopping at a thrift store and I like let's say I find like a vintage Julia or something, and then I buy it for like $4 and she's like, you have like hundreds at home. Like, why do you need more?
Does she know
And
how
I'm
much
like,
dolls are worth? Like, does she know the value of how much some of that stuff? Because you can collect Fabergé eggs and that you ordered from Ashton Drake and made 5 installments of 29.95 or whatever. And when you open up that egg and set it on your counter, it's like worthless. It's like worth half of what you paid for. With dolls, you literally like almost
it's
always
investing.
are going to be making money on them at some point, even if you open them. And
Yeah.
and so I always find it so interesting that people belittle it so much when literally, besides maybe jewelry and coins, it's one of the very top of collectibles so I mean I always think of it as kind of a little bank account
It is.
because
It's an
for
investment.
savings, because if I've ever been in any kind of jam in my life, which happens, or a move or whatever, it's like I may have shed some tears, but I sell a few dolls and I'm like, okay, we're good to go.
Right. So she still kind of says things like that when I go out and stuff like that. And when I buy something for like an expensive amount of money, like she's fully aware, but like when I bought my first original build Lily, it's several $1,000s. She just basically was just like, that's a waste of money. And I'm like, I'm buying it for this amount now, but I hope in like another 50 years, who knows how much they will be, just like the number one Barbie. And like when I tell her the number one Barbie can range from like, 8 grand minimum to like 20,000 the most, she's just like, what? And I'm like, it's history. And
Yeah.
not only is this a Lily, it's the doll that started it all. I'm like, it's not even just Lily, but like, I have number three Barbies and stuff. And I'm like, these are investments and they accrue value. As long as they maintain good condition and they are like clean and stuff like that, they will accrue value. And she doesn't understand that. And my mom is a huge jewelry person. Like she likes to collect a lot of jewelry. So I keep comparing it. I'm like, you buy that silver bracelet, that's the same thing as me investing in my like ponytail Barbies or something. They will accrue in value and it's an investment. So like,
Right.
yeah, I have thousands.
I mean, technically, we shouldn't have to explain our loves and our passions as human beings, but unfortunately, the way that we have uh, evolved as human beings, it's become this really weird, weird thing where people just like, they can look at a statue and they can understand that that's art. They can
Yeah.
look at a painting of the Mona Lisa and they can understand that that's art. But no
Yeah.
matter how beautiful or intricate or amazing a doll is, a lot of people still look at it as a child's plaything. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, no, this is much, yes, but no, this is much more than that. There's different levels to what this is,
Yeah.
and a
It's
lot of
still considered art.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean,
And the
think
one thing
about
I
all
will
the
say, like,
mediums.
yeah, the one thing I will say though is like I'm just kind of like it's not even just with my mom. It's just like people who are outside of the community where I have to justify myself. I have to
Right.
justify like the pricing of it and stuff like that. Like even just like my dolls that I make, like the pricing of it, like I don't know what is it with people who come to an artist, whether it be a doll artist or a painter with the oil paint. They go to an artist and they expect something like, oh, I'll give you like $50 for that. And then when you tell them it's like several hundred, they're just like, what? Oh my God. They get like almost offended that you want to sell your art at a value that you put your labor and your blood, sweat, and tears in and, a lot
Right.
of hard work. I'm like, if you don't like it, you can make it. And if you can't make it, then why, complain about the price? But that was another thing. It's just like you have to constantly justify yourself and like not only in collecting and stuff, but like just like your own art. Like I have to justify my art. Like there was last week I took one of my dolls to my job because I do that sometimes, just like as a stress reliever. And then like I was showing my friend, my coworker, like my dolls that I was creating, my aliens. And she's like, oh, well, how much? She's like, really cute. How much do you sell it for? And I was just like, so and so price. And then she was just like, what? She's like, people are out there buying this for that price. And I'm like, okay.
Yes, they are.
I'm like, yes, yes, they are. And I'm like, and then she wanted to follow my Instagram. I'm like, don't you dare go on my Instagram and start telling people in the comments that don't buy my shit.
It's funny. I'll probably edit this next part out, I'm gonna say, but it's funny that you say that because James contacted me like 4 or 5 years ago when I first did my Miss Mary, because I had started with Mary Magpie and then she evolved into Miss Mary and got more buxom and whatnot. And James had contacted me wanting one before he started doing his own dolls and stuff. And I told him, he's like, how much are they? And I was like, $300. And he was like, no, like, And like then he wrote
Sounds
this
like
thing about
it.
like how I should send it to him for free. And I'm
Yeah.
like, unless you're gonna do a bunch of like advertising for me, no, you have a platform with Drag Race and you probably have
Yeah.
tons more money than I do as a struggling artist, and you're gonna try to
Yeah.
get this from me for free. So after that, I
Yeah.
was like, James, you bitch, like, you know.
But like with James, like I've sent James so many of my dolls, and like the one thing is like I've sent my doll to plenty of like people who YouTube and things like that, and I'm naturally a person who gifts things, so I don't expect people to advertise my work. But like because it's different if like you're asking me and then I ship it to you kind of thing. But like I naturally like if I'm friends with you, I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna send you this doll because I love you kind of thing. So like I sent like a few of my friends who, like I said, do YouTube and stuff like that, dolls, and like they've even told me, oh my god, when I get it, I'm gonna make a YouTube video about it or something like that. I'm like, oh, I really appreciate that. Thank you. Zip. Never heard from that.
Nothing. I
Never,
know.
nothing.
And you know what else? Like, that really sucks. I was talking to a friend about this. For some reason, in the art doll community, unless you are Julian Kalinowski, um, nobody photographs them. I have
That too.
literally sold hundreds of my dolls, hundreds of them. They're all over the
Yes.
world. I've shipped them to Italy. I've shipped them to
Same.
Ireland. I've shipped
Norway.
them. I
Greece.
rarely see photos of my dolls, and I'm like,
Same.
ah,
And
yeah,
then I get people who are my friends, and they're just like, "How do you not have that many followers?" Because, like I said, I'm kind of new. And they're like your dolls are amazing, your content is amazing, and all this stuff. And they're like, "I'm surprised you don't have any followers." I'm like, because like the people who buy my dolls don't post. They don't post them. And I'm like, I'm not gonna reach out and be like, "Hey, make a post on my doll that you bought." Like, I'm not gonna do that. But like, I mean, I literally the past 2 weeks sent one to like Norway, I think Greece. There was another one in there are a lot of them in Europe.
yeah,
Nobody who buys them posts them, and then I even have a few that I shipped in the United States. They don't post. They
yeah.
never make a post, and I think only one person posted that recently, where she posted like a video of my Fifi LaBelle, and I greatly appreciate it. But like that's why I don't have that many followers, and that's why I don't get really out there when people don't cross share your content.
Exactly,
You know,
exactly.
you like my
So
dolls,
start
support
cross
me.
sharing, people.
Share your stuff with the artist. Like if I buy like one of your dolls, like if you go on my Instagram, anytime someone ships me something, whether it be a gift or something I buy from another artist, I at least put it in my story and make like a shout out and be like, oh my god, thank you so much. I love this, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I'll make a whole like post or story about it. Like I recently got a nuke from Nav. He sent me one of his dolls, and I sent him two dolls. One I made of like a Spanish lily, and then I actually made him like a Schwabinchen, like a Wildebras doll.
Oh, that's so
Like he
sweet.
shared it everywhere. He was amazing. He shared it on Facebook, he on Instagram. Like it was great. Um, it's so artists supporting artists.
Yes, and again, that's what like the core of this channel is, it's like I want to support other artists. I want to get everybody out there. I want people that maybe wouldn't have stumbled across somebody on Instagram or something to like be like, "Oh, okay, this person exists. I'm gonna go now and look them up and follow them."
Yeah. So that's the one thing that I think just a lot of times it lacks. It's just like I wish the people who did buy my stuff would be people who post, because when I go like a lot of times on their Instagram, the people who buy my dolls are people who barely have any posts on their Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like and then the big time people like
They're
I have
hoarders. They don't want to show everybody their
yeah.
stuff.
And then I have friends who well, I wouldn't say friends. I have some people who have like a big following, and like they bought one of my dolls and they just don't share it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't expect them, like I said, but like, it'd be nice if you have a bigger following, if you like, at least post a picture, be like, hey, look at this doll. But yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Well, maybe after people watch this video, they'll start taking pictures of their dolls and posting them.
Yeah. Follow me. I'm just kidding.
Right, right. So do you have like I know you have some things above your head. Do you have anything there with you like that you can show and tell with us?
I actually grabbed a few of my dolls. I just didn't know what I was going to talk about. So, like, I first originally started, like I said, with Lily dolls, and as you can see here, like, this is what actually got a lot of my
Oh,
attention
she's
on me.
gorgeous.
is making these Lily dolls, and this is what I started with. And funny enough, I learned everything. Actually, it's been a year and 2 months now since I started creating my own dolls in 3D printing. And when I tell people that, they're just like, "How the hell did you excel that quickly?" Determination. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
learned how to 3D print. I broke three of them, like I said, and then I was very a stickler on trying to get her face correct and learning how to do it right and just making a product that looks, like professional because the last thing you want to do is spend hundreds of dollars and then, it doesn't look professional.
Right.
So like I started making my lilies and then I started after the lily, I wanted to make a lily boyfriend, kind of like her Ken. And then I came up with my Jet Mercury is what I called him. And this is my Jet Mercury that I have.
Aw, so cute. He's got like a James Dean vibe to him. I like him.
Yeah, I got a lot of people, or what was it, James Franco? People say they also looks like James Franco.
I can see that. Yeah.
So, and
James
he's like,
Franco doing duck face. Yeah.
yeah, and then he fits like the Mod Ken stuff, so I have him in that. I also went and ventured to do different variations of like an AA version. So I made like this guy right here,
He's
and
beautiful. How cool.
forgot his name. I think I named him Logan. They didn't take off. And I was selling them at a budget price too. I think I was selling them at like 150.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah, it's just, and they were like, I have three different guys. I have a Caucasian, this guy, and then another one with a smaller afro, but with a different face code. And like everyone on my Instagram was like, "Oh my god, I love that! Like, I can't wait to get it." And I'm like,
And
"Great!"
then
They
they
were
weren't there when you were selling it. Yeah, I know. I
no.
know all about that story.
So I stopped making them. I stopped making them. Everyone was like, "Are you gonna bring back the Jet Mercuries?" And I sold one recently, and I was just like, I guess I can. I know the one that got the most popular was not a vintage because I was doing vintage inspired, and then I was just like, usually with my dolls, I tried to experiment with them. So I made like a hairy daddy where he had like a lot of body hair with the beard and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Everyone liked that one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I sold that one, and then apparently people also like atomically correct ones where like
Yeah.
he doesn't have like a little thing, but like just a little shape to it. But they're like, if you make it more detailed, like it would probably take off. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not so much what I'm trying to get out there.
Right.
But yeah, and then my Fifi LaBelles, and then I have like my new batch of aliens. So my new batch has like these
Love
molded hairs that
her.
I've been doing.
She's
And then she has like the
amazing.
real lashes and everything like that. So like this is the Wildebras face that I've been creating with. So there's a different character to like the aliens other than Lily.
I love it. She's amazing. Just
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful work. I know it's hard because I've had so many times where I've been really on fire and inspired by something, and I'm so like excited to release it and to get feedback, and it'll be like crickets, and I'm like, what the heck, I like this is amazing. Why is no one seeing this or commenting? And then I'll move on because I'll be like sad, depressed, whatever. That didn't go over. I move on to the next thing. And
Right.
like literally like 2 or 3 years later, people will be like, "Are you gonna make any more of those other dolls?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not." Because you
Yeah,
people weren't there to fucking buy them from the beginning.
exactly. That's exactly what happened with my Jet Mercuries. Like they're messaging me like a year later after making them, and they're just like, "Are you selling any more of your guys?" And I'm just like, "No, I haven't made them in
Yeah.
like a year."
Yeah. Where were you?
Yeah, they're like, "What? I didn't see them for sale." I'm like, I posted it all over my Instagram and my story. I even made a post. I'm like, physical post. I'm like, here, he's cheap. Take him.
Right,
Nothing.
right. Nothing. I know.
But yeah,
There's no
and then
rhyme
things
or
like
reason to it. And,
yeah,
it's so funny because you just don't know what is going to take off. And I've had so many times where I've had like a drop happening on my website and I'd be advertising for it. And there would be like a few comments and some likes and not much. And then the day comes and they freaking sell out in like 5 minutes. But I'm like, how I'm freaking out the whole time because no one's commenting, no one's, and I'm like,
I
oh my
know.
God, and
It's
it's
just it
such a
doesn't get active.
gamble.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
seems like there's not much exposure, and then you release it, and then they end up being sold. Like
yeah,
when I made my aliens last year, because I was so nervous, I literally only made six because I was scared, And they like as soon as I listed the funny thing is I posted it on my Instagram, nothing, crickets. And the thing is, as soon as I posted it on eBay, it sold within 5 minutes. And
Yeah,
the
isn't
funny
that
thing is,
weird?
the people who bought it on eBay are the people who follow me on Instagram. And I'm like, why did you buy on eBay? It would be cheaper if you bought it through me on
Right.
and you're just like, I don't know. So I'm like, oh my God.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's just most of the time I post it on my Instagram and I'm like, it's cheaper if you do that because if you send the money to me, I'm not going to charge the surplus price for eBay because of the fees. I'm like, it'll be cheaper.
Right,
But
right.
people want to just post it on eBay and then they buy it on there, and I'm like, it's more expensive. You spend more money, so I
Yeah.
don't get it.
Maybe they feel they have more security in their purchase that way. I don't know, but it's
I
weird.
think it's like the payment plans. I think because they are hundreds of dollars that
Oh,
sometimes people do the
right.
paying for option and they rather just do that
That
than paying
makes
in
sense.
bulk.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah. That's probably, I mean, I probably would want to do it that way.
Yeah. Because I don't sometimes have like $500 to $600 to just be like, here, give me your doll.
Right, right. I
Starving
know.
artist.
Well, and these days, I feel like someone is having a drop like every week for something. It's either it's MGA, it's Mattel, it's and
Yeah.
with Mattel, it's like Barbie and Monster High, or it's Integrity, or it's Defalucy now,
Yeah.
and you're just like, I don't have enough money for all of this. Like it's coming
Exactly.
in too fast, and there's too much of it, you know?
Yeah, it's just like it's constantly a drop every week or every other week. There's like a company selling a doll drop, and these dolls are just not cheap. They're all expensive, whether it be Barbie or something. Because the collector Barbies can be, what was it that 14-inch one? It was like three something $100.
$300. And it's so funny. And that's another thing, like, you just never know. But when that came out, only negative online, only negative. People were
And then
really
it sells out.
and then it sells out. And I thought I got a little FOMO, but I was like, I don't want to spend that much because I thought in my mind, I was like, Amazon will end up having her and she'll get reduced because how many Mattel dolls have we seen that happen with? And so
Yeah,
I was like, I don't want to spend $300 because she wasn't my fantasy, but I thought she would be interesting to see how she was in person or something.
right.
But I wasn't crazy to go out and get her. And then she was gone, and I was like, "What? Like
Yeah.
that's so
And then sometimes
weird."
the dolls that you expect to sell out don't sell out, and then they end
Yeah.
up like going on sale. I think what was it? The who's the singer that they from the 70s? I completely forgot the singer's
Oh,
name.
oh, oh, oh. Now, the Fleetwood
The
Mac.
one,
Right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. The first one
Stevie
I think
Nicks.
sold out super. Yeah, Stevie Nicks. The first one sold out, but then she came out with the white outfit, and I'm like, oh, she's gonna sell out again. And then she didn't really sell out. And I don't know on the website, but I know on Amazon and stuff, she even went on like a sale for like $30 or something. And I'm like, I expected her to go up in price and sell out.
Yeah. Yeah. I have both of them just because I love Stevie. So.
I love Stevie, but I literally bought that doll. Oh, I thought I had it next to me because I actually used the face mold to make Britney Spears.
Oh, that's so well, it was a really good face sculpt. I liked it a lot.
I took off the bangs and I just made the long hair. And like, if you were to like do that, it's literally Britney Spears when she was younger.
That's
So like,
so
it's a
funny.
perfect face for Britney.
That's so funny because I don't look at Stevie Nicks and see Britney, but like
Mhm.
that sculpt, even though it was very Stevie Nicks, it also works for Britney. That's crazy.
I swore I had it next to me somewhere.
It's Britney, bitch.
Yeah, like it's perfect. And then I have my friend Sal. I actually don't know his Instagram name off the top of my head. Sal Arriaga.
Uh-huh. I know Salvador.
Salvador.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like he's actually gonna be making me the Britney Spears outfit because I don't to find Britney Spears outfits just don't exist. And the ones that they made in the 90s, if you buy the doll or the outfit, it's like hundreds of dollars.
You
It's
don't
expensive
sew?
stuff. No,
So who makes your costumes?
nobody. So that's another issue of like why my dolls were complained about when I was selling them because like I was selling them pretty much in like bathing suits because
Yeah.
I know how to basic sew but I don't know how to make like outfits like this I can't make. So like I was
Well,
just
what about
doing
your
like
alien girls? Where were those costumes come from?
sourced.
Oh,
I
okay.
I sourced them. They are handmade, but they are sourced.
Gotcha.
So the boots I handmade. So these boots, they're fabric boots. I recently just made them, and these are like inspired from like the actual kind of fabric boots that they did for Mattel in the '60s and stuff. The belt I made, these are sourced, and then I make the earrings. But yeah, the
Cute.
leotards because I don't sew, those are sourced.
Okay.
Um, so
It's like they
and I
say
had to
on
come up with
RuPaul's Drag Race, girl, you got take a sewing class.
yeah. I mean, well, I mean, because like making like professional looking things where people are gonna want to buy it, where it looks good, you have to be kind of inventive sometimes. Because I know since I didn't really sew, what I was used to do is I would source like Barbie outfits and I would cut, edit, and like, make it into a different outfit,
Right.
to make it. But like to source the same type of outfit multiple times and then re-edit the outfit to make it be different. And then a lot of times people don't want to buy a doll, and then it's just like, oh, you're making a Lily doll and you're putting Barbie on it. Like that outfit
Right.
is more for Barbie and that's not for Lily. So like I try to do something different and
But
stuff.
I mean,
But
doing dolls as like basics, and having swimsuits, I couldn't imagine people complaining about that. That's so weird because
they
that's
did.
what, I mean, Barbie, the one who started it all, she came in a box for $3 in a swimsuit, you know?
Right. No, I had plenty of people who didn't want to pay the price I was selling them at, because I was selling the doll. As much as I would love to make outfits, it wasn't to be. It's not like Julian where he has an outfit and it's like a whole thing. My thing is like you're buying the doll and then be creative with her. Like she was made to be dressed in
Yeah.
whatever fashion they want to do, which most people who did buy my doll would get like a custom outfit made for them anyways, and they would take off whatever outfit I sold it. Because I would sell some with like custom outfits, but they didn't even display them in it. So like what I was selling was a reproduction of Lily because she's really well at the time she was really hard to come by, and especially like not only hard to come by, but some of the people who reproduced her didn't do too much of a good job or something. They would do like a I don't know, like the 35th anniversary Barbie, and then they would paint it and reboot it to look like Lily and stuff like that.
Right.
But like people wanted one that looked and felt like an actual, Lily doll. And that's what they were mostly looking for. And especially like in the United States, especially at the time, there wasn't that many people. I think there's like Pania Cope who kind of retired. She doesn't really sell it anymore. I think she just does random sales or something. And then Julian, who's in the United Kingdom, so like there wasn't that many doing
Yeah.
it. And then now Lily kind of just blew up, and
Well, her
like
files, I
everyone
think,
and their
are for
mother is making
sale
Lily.
now. And so literally every kid is making Lily dolls now. And
Yes,
Willy, too. Someone must have released a Willy file or something because I'm seeing all these people now using Willy's arms on Lily's body, like trading
really.
parts and doing, yeah, it's crazy.
I would have to see that. I haven't seen her file get released, as far as I know.
Yeah.
That I haven't seen, but like I gave up on making lilies, and I even made a whole dramatic post on my Instagram saying like I'm not going to sell them anymore because there's too much competition in a sense. Like everyone is making Lily. I'm like, there's no point in me making it anymore. I had my
Right.
run. I did it for a year, and I'm like, appreciate the ones I did, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Um, but I plan on probably bringing her back eventually.
Is James still making his, like, I know he was doing like 16-inch girls or like big girls.
No, yeah, he still makes some.
Yeah.
He actually just sent me. Hold on, let me see.
Mhm.
Me two of them recently, but I have one right here that he sent me. For I think it was for like for my birthday because my birthday's like next week. So he sent me these, but yeah, he still sells. Oh my gosh, he still sells the the Barbie size ones. I don't know if he sells the big ones. I know he really likes the big ones though.
Yeah.
Because I introduced him to the Jean Marshall outfits and stuff, and I told him like because I used to make the bigger lilies, and I would use the Jean Marshall outfits for my lilies because they were like perfect. They were really well made, and I wanted to do that. But I stopped doing that because I literally don't have the space for those big dolls. But yeah, no, he still sells these. I think he sells them on his actual website. I think he has a website where it's like jamesmansfield.com or something where he sells his dolls.
Gotcha,
But
gotcha.
yeah, no, he still makes a lot of them.
That's so funny. Yeah, I think Lily is, it really blew up fairly recently. And then I couldn't go through my feed without just seeing a new
Yeah,
iteration, a new iteration, a new iteration, a new iteration,
yeah,
all these people just like making their own or whatever, which is super cool. But
yeah,
also, when you're someone like Julian, who literally has been doing this for forever and then
yeah,
has this like 500 kids making them now, like I don't know how he feels, but like I probably would be a little like, I mean, he doesn't own it, but it
yeah.
still sucks when you put that
Yeah,
much
no, that's
time
how
and
I
work
was when I was
into,
making mine. Because
yeah.
like those damn Lily files didn't exist. Because my files are not from Cult 3D. Those are not the files. These are my own files that I got, and from like an actual scan of Lily, and someone decided to just actually scan and put it online, and then like everyone started making it. And the thing is,
I mean, that
after I
someone's probably really fucking smart because they're making shit tons of money off of selling their
yeah,
files.
yeah. Because like it was funny because I was perfecting it, I was doing her, and like I was kind of like one of the few. It was like Pania Cope and Julian and me who were making them, and then all of a sudden that happened, and then I looked at my mom. I'm like, fuck my life.
Yeah, yeah,
Everyone was making them, and I was just like, there goes the budget. Like because usually if they're a doll that's sought after, hard to make, and hard to get your hand on, and like there's a few people who do them, but do them well. Like
yeah.
like Jolene makes amazing replications of her. Like if I could do that, I can sell them for a decent amount of money. But the more reproductions that are there, the cheaper the price, and the more better other people are. And not even a lot of times, I will tell you that a lot of people will look at this and like it's like a great doll. Let's say I sell her for like $500 or something. Someone makes something similar, but the paintwork is not the best. The hair is not styled. It doesn't look professional, but they're gonna sell it for like 150. They're
Right.
gonna want to buy that one because it's close enough to Lily and it's cheap.
Yeah.
So people will go for the cheaper, less quality version of her because it's more affordable and they just want the look of the doll versus, spending more expensive for getting something that has a little bit more quality and professionalism put into it.
Well,
So,
thank God you are super freaking talented and you can make your own original characters and you can have your own original dolls. And I think that that's like, I mean, I feel like as an artist, like that's really what I wanted to do from the very beginning was to like have my own characters, my own creations, even though I was very obviously inspired by dolls like Barbie or Lily or Jean or Tyler Wentworth or, whatever, to have your own. And then you have, your own individual stamp on that versus making reproductions of something else or another works. So I think that you're in the total right direction of creating just your own original pieces, and they're beautiful.
thank you. I mean, my first original character was the Jet Mercury and the boys that I did. Unfortunately, that failed.
Yeah,
But
but
like,
you have to keep on keeping on.
keep on, keep on. Yeah, like what I'm gonna be doing is because I already did
Were you singing the
my
Brady Bunch?
yeah.
I love you.
So like I was doing the Wildebras doll, and then I changed her up by adding lashes, making her look modern stuff like that. But she was still a character that was from something else. So like in this world, like there's no originality when I make Lily or Wildebras because these are existing dolls, even though I change it up. So I'm working furthermore on making my own original dolls, kind of like how you did. So I wanted to the next doll that I've been working on and I'm designing is like a Francie like doll. So it's not going to be Francie. It's not going
Ooh.
to be a Francie reproduction, but it's going to be in the Francie scale. And it's going to, like, let's say it's Lily's like cousin, kind of thing. It's going to be her mod cousin, you know? So, like, that's what I'm going to do is working on a mod Francie like doll that's going to be not Skipper size, but it's going to be Francie size. And I'm going to try to do the whole mod thing because I even mastered it. I had a friend who helped me where that's how I made my Jessica Rabbit, my second one, because I did one with like that I sculpted a whole body with the lily body. I made rootable head caps. So thanks to my friend, I can't remember their name. She's Gem and a Holograms on Instagram. Um, Drag queen, but amazing artist, and he helped
Oh, is
me
she the
figure
one that's
out.
doing her own gem dolls?
Yes,
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
yes. Shout out to her. But he helped me with making the rootable head caps because initially what I was doing when I was because I got tired of making ponytails, I was trying to do flexible resin and I was trying to do that to root it, and I was able to root it, but overnight when I would wake up the next day, it just completely ripped apart. I'm like, it's not holding. So
Oh, that's awful.
it couldn't do that. So then the next thing, which I'm going to be doing again, is with the head cap with the resin. I was just going to make a whole bunch of holes that I can just root the head cap, so I don't have to
Yeah.
plug the holes. I just root the holes, and then I just glue it down, and it's still a hard head cap, and I can root it. I tried it the one time, but the holes were too small, and I had to throw that head cap away. But then talking to her, he came up with this technique where he made me a mold, and I could just pour like my own flexible resin in it, and huzzah, I was able to do it. And
That's
then I made my
awesome.
own. I made actual rootable head caps, and that's how I made that recent Jessica Rabbit that I did. It was a horrendous process because I hated doing it, but I was able to do it. So, funny enough, I'm gonna bring that up because Tyler, I hate not knowing people's names on Instagram. Tyler, he's the one that does the color magic, a lot of
My
color
friend
magic.
Tyler, yeah.
Yes, yes. Sorry, what's his Instagram name, just so we can put it out there? I know people, but I just never remember their names. Like I have
I
one of my best friends,
know.
like his name is Roger, but his Instagram is Darlene Delphine or Dolphine, and I can never pronounce it.
It's Tyler's Dolls, which is why I probably don't remember it because I'm like, it's got to be some other name besides
Tyler Doll.
Tyler. But no, it's literally Tyler's Dolls. So
Right.
shout
So
out
there
to
you go. That's his
Tyler.
Instagram. So I'm gonna be doing a collaboration with him actually, where I'm gonna be making color magic lilies, and she's gonna have color magic hair. So I'm
Yes.
gonna do actual changing hair color, rootable head capped lilies, where it's gonna have her hair down and everything like that, and then it's gonna be UV changing with the flashlight. It's gonna be the gimmick, obviously. They're gonna come like with little miniature UV flashlights where you can change the color of the hair. And the collaboration is I make the doll and he's gonna be making the outfit, and we're gonna be doing that together.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love
Yeah.
that. What a small world too, because like I'm trying to remember who brought my attention to you. But it was I fairly recently, like within the last year or something, or even months. And a friend of mine who I can't recall brought my attention to you, and I maybe, or maybe I just was scrolling and you came up in the thing, and I was like, "What is this?" I don't remember, but
Uh-huh.
it's such a small world because here, I saw your work and I was like, "Oh, cool, another artist. Like, I want to like, contact them and see if they want to like be on the show." And then you're like, "Oh, my friend Tyler." I'm like. We like Tyler, like we literally go to, are at the same shows and everything.
Small
So
world, yeah.
small world, yeah.
Yeah, and I was just on the phone with him like all day yesterday. We're just talking about the collaboration and everything like that, like coming up with designs. Because originally last year I came up with a dress design, but I told him like he's like, "Is that what you want to do?" I'm like, "No," like because like if I'm gonna be creating the doll and this is a collaboration, you're not gonna just sew my design. I want you to showcase your art. I want you to design what you want. I want you to have the passion of your the outfit. So it's a true collaboration where I make my doll the way I want it, and then you make the outfit for the doll, and then we're gonna put them together, and we're gonna make like I think six of them. So we're gonna
Yeah.
sell like six color magic lilies, and not just Lily. We're gonna be doing my I call them Fifi Labelles, but the Wildebras dolls. They're gonna be Lily and Wildebras together for color magic.
I love that. That's amazing. That's so cool. And thank you for like sharing that because that's giving me a little insight. I love that.
Yeah. I haven't even announced it or anything, I think, on my Instagram yet. So there's your announcement.
Yay, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, I'm really excited about where things are going for you, and I'm really excited about seeing more of your work. You really are so incredibly talented.
Thank you.
Like I said, I had just happened upon you, whether it be looking or someone had said something, and I was like, "Who is this, Dani Darkspell?" And I'm like, looking, and then did the deep dive on you and looked through all of your work and everything, and I was like, "Yeah," I was thinking. So I thought you were like maybe 22 or something. And so in my mind, I was like, this kid's got talent, like, like,
I wish I was 22.
right, right. But no, it's super amazing. And I'm so excited. Like collaboration, that's another thing that I think is so cool and fun and different in this community. It's like Julian had a whole bunch of dolls that he didn't really like, that were his, that he had produced. And he was like, I don't even want to look at them. He's like, they're up in the attic. He's like, do you
Yeah.
want them? Do you want to do something with them? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, I want to do something with them. And so we like started a collaboration in an odd way because I'm taking his trash that he doesn't want and then and using that and making that into a new thing. But I think that I just love that camaraderie because at the end of the day, we're all those same little gay boys. Whether you're
Yeah.
female or male, we're all those
Yeah.
same little gay boys. And we have a story to tell and we have a passion for something and to be able to like come together as a community, we're stronger in numbers than we are segregated, and I feel like
Right.
it's so important to embrace that. And it's hard because as human beings we have stupid little flaws like jealousy and like things like that, but we have to like stop and understand that these are all individual stories that have experienced their own experiences with dolls, and they feel the same way that we do, and they want to be able to express that, and they want to be able to make that. And so if we
Yeah.
can all come together and lift each other up and help us, I mean, in the olden days when I would pull up my old wagon and but I would ask for help, and I can't tell you how many people through the years would say no. I am
Mhm.
not sharing my secrets with you. I'm not sharing, whatever.
Yeah.
And I maybe that's the part that's hard for me reality wise with a lot of the younger kids, that it's so easy for them now, is because I had such a treacherous road of really having from the bottom up to
Yeah.
learn all these things, figure out all these things, get my own contacts, do that,
Right.
whatnot. And so it is hard. Like, I'll have people message me all the time, hey, where did you do this? Where'd you get this produced? Where'd you? And there's a part of me that's like,
Yeah,
you
you want to
know,
gatekeep a little bit because you work so
yeah,
hard. You spend months trying to figure it out just for someone to just do it in 2 seconds and get your hard work. So I
right.
get it sometimes,
And there's two
but
sides of that because there's also the side of, you know, they're living they're living their best life, and it's not their fault where their timeline was thrown. It's not my fault where my timeline was thrown, and
yeah,
I can't put that heaviness on them because of that was my experience. And
yeah.
so it's this little dance of like trying to make it make sense in your head when
Mhm.
initially you're kind of like and
I
and then
completely get that.
yeah.
Like when I was making my lilies and I became like, I guess, quote unquote good, not to like knock my own thing, but like I was getting a name for myself, and like I remember for fun, I was even Googling my name, and like there was like crediting like, oh, you're looking for Lily, because there was like I think a Reddit post, and they were like, who makes a really good reproduction of Lily, and there was like comments saying like, oh my god, go to Dani Darkspell, he makes really good reproductions of her. So I was gaining some notoriety for my doll, and I was proud of myself, and I still am. But like with that, I got like all these people, all these kids making like Lily dolls in my DMs. I'm like, oh my god, what hair do you use? Where can I buy this? How do you do this? And like, I'm like, I mean, I'm not trying to gatekeep, like, like
But I am.
a little bit, but like even in my stories, like on my stories, because like the whole thing is when I was making my stories on my Instagram before I even made my dolls, my whole shtick was like, I'm gonna teach people, like, because it's all in my stories and not in my posts. I teach people how to do things. Like I was teaching them like the resin technique for like the nip nose and stuff like that. I taught Dakota how to do it, and then when Dakota did it, she was like, "Oh my god, this is like a whole life-changing experience." And then she made a YouTube video, and then she shouted me out in the YouTube video. Like that was a technique that I came up with. And then like on my stories, I would also do like how to get your paint smooth, or like how to like take the yellow out of the face and restore the color back, and like all the life hacks and tips and tricks and stuff like that that people
Yeah.
like pay up the ass for to like get their dolls customized. And I'm like, my whole thing is like, I want to teach you so you can do it too, just so
Yeah.
you don't have to pay someone like hundreds of dollars for something that like the eye ridges is like 2 seconds kind of thing,
I
like.
think at the end of the day, it's kind of like my friend Amy Sprouse from Tiny Ribbons. We were talking on the phone the other day, and we were talking about how um, people, are constantly asking her for her secrets on her eyebrows, on her, whatever. And these are all things that she's worked so hard on to perfect, And I think at the end of the day, uh, I just brain farted. I really had a thing. I had a thing.
No,
And
I can add to that because like what I can tell you is you can tell someone what to do, but it takes experience to do it well.
I know what it was. Shout out. So that's the thing that I feel the community needs to work on and embrace, especially the younger community, which is where if somebody gives you help, if somebody or if you're inspired by another artist,
Talk about
say, I'm inspired by this artist. Say,
right.
I saw Amy Sprouse's Francie that she did in this style and whatever, and I loved it so much. I created my version of that. Thank you, Amy, for inspiring me. But
Yeah.
people don't do that, and
No.
that's where the feelings get put in there. It's like if someone who did that had said, gosh, I was inspired by Dani Darkspell. I had seen, pictures on his Instagram and they were so beautiful and it really compelled me to do my own thing. As an artist, you would very much appreciate someone saying they were inspired by you versus seeing something that was obviously inspired by you, but your name was nowhere on that list.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I can even say that this was I think 2 years ago where I got a midge head because as we all know when we're like on eBay buying lots, midges everywhere. She's like a cockroach. You're gonna get her. She's in there. So there at one point I think I had 6 midge heads, and I'm like, what am I gonna do with 6 midge heads? So I came
Fix
up.
their eye placement.
I mean, I came up with the idea, but I highly doubt I'm the first person who came up with it. But like, what I did is I made live action Christy because she's really hard and expensive to get
Yeah.
with Midgehead, and then I put it on the Facebook group post, and it kind of blew up. Like everyone like ate it up, and like even Bill Greening commented on saying like, "Oh my god, that's amazing," because like I made the live action Christy with the Midgehead, and I'm like, this is how you're gonna recycle Midge because you have plenty of midges, I'm sure. So make live action Christy, So like I even explained the process of like how to dye the head, and then, of course I had all these people like, oh, it's gonna fade, it's gonna like that. It's like about 2 to 3 years later, and my Christy is still the same. She has not
Yeah.
faded.
Yeah.
Either way, it blew up, and then I think a few months after it died down, I saw tricklings of like people dyeing their dolls like to make Christy or like other characters and stuff like that because like no one was kind of doing that before. I mean, some people dye their dolls and stuff like that, but to make a complete custom of
Right.
like out of like using it, especially it's funny because people were doing live action Christy with the midge head zero credit to me.
Yeah.
And completely fine. Like I said, I'm sure I'm not the only one who's probably done that, but like it's just like funny that you most likely got the idea because literally like a month or two later after me posting it, you come up with it and you post it on the same group and you're just like, look, I came up with this idea. And I'm like, sure you did, Jan. You
Right.
know?
Sure, Jan.
Sure, Jan. You know? So it's just
No, but
like it,
like, yeah, I think that the classy thing to do is to give the person a shout out when you're inspired by
yeah.
somebody. That's the correct move. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because like in this day and age, it's really, really hard to be original. Because like
Mhm.
I get lots of compliments and I really appreciate it about my alien lilies that I've been making, but that's not original.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like these are like 19 atomic space age aliens that are from the 60s. I'm like, you have, which was my inspiration was the girl from was it Attack on Mars, the movie that she like floats in her dress. She was a big
Yeah.
inspiration. Juno Birch, she was a huge inspiration to my
Right.
aliens. I'm like, it's been done before. It's just the way I'm doing it that's combining with the vintage doll and combining the aesthetic of the 60s aliens and stuff, you know,
Mhm.
kind of comes off as like an original idea, but it's not.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's all inspired, you know.
Well, we all take bits and pieces, throughout our life, and
Yeah,
I feel spiritually that we do have our own individual ideas, and but I feel like a lot of it is pieces of things that we've experienced throughout the years, and then we make our own puzzle out of it. That
right,
is, it's a trademark that, or a stamp that nobody else can reproduce, but it is from all of these little things that we've experienced, it the animated Thumbelina, the whatever, and this and this and this and this, and we just like make this, Frankenstein,
right.
from our memories and our nostalgia and whatnot, and so I feel like none of it is necessarily original, but it's
Creative.
still, yeah, yeah.
You know, it's being creative and it's just coming up with like a product that's being creative. So like we all get inspired by everything, whether it be a movie, characters, or like people like you and me who come up with an idea and they want to replicate it in their own way. But yeah, we're all inspired by other artists, movies, and characters. But yeah,
I love this girl so much, the Willy, or Fifi.
yeah. Her
I
name.
love
It's funny
Fifi.
because I spend I don't know I think I spend like hardcore about 3 days coming up with her name because like naming the male dolls it took me forever because I don't know how I came up with the Jet Mercury. Oh, that's how I know. Okay, sorry, I said it in my head. So like I was coming up with the alien girls, the idea for them, and I'm like they're going to be space age. And my lilies were not called Lily; they're called Lily Linas. So I call them Linas. And I was just like I wanted to make a boyfriend and to match the space age because initially I was going to make an astronaut version of Lily and her boyfriend. So I was just like, what's very space agey? And I'm like, Jet Mercury. And then for her, I don't even know how I came up with the name. I just like Fifi LaBelle.
It's so great. She sounds like a drag queen. She looks like a drag
Yeah,
queen. She's fabulous.
no. So I just like being creative and trying to change them up and
Yeah,
everything.
I love it. It's amazing.
I have this other Fifi LaBelle that I made right here that I just have sitting there when I was just doing the
Oh,
packaging.
she's so beautiful.
And like the first one I did that of my own style because initially I was replicating Wildebras, but I wanted to have more of like the bitchy face. So like I was doing like those kind of like small pupils and stuff like that.
Oh,
So like
she
I wanted
looks
to give like
great.
the super villainous face. So my thing is like going back to like how we get inspired by like powerful women and stuff like that is I would say pretty much all my dolls, I guess minus Lily itself, are villainous. Like my aliens are not nice. If you read the biography that I put with dolls, they take the form they're aliens, and when like she's supposed to land on their planet, the aliens take the form of their prey, which is Lily, which is why they look like this. So they take the form of their prey, they befriend you, and then they like cannibalize you, like they eat you. They're evil. Those are my aliens.
And they look fashionable while they do it.
Exactly. That's actually in the bio card, you know, like when they're perfecting their Earth Girl giggles and stuff like that, they're gonna kill you basically. So like my aliens are evil. My Fifi LaBelles, minus them not being Wildebras, they're supposed to be like villainous bitches, basically.
I
They're
love
supposed to
it.
be bitches.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dani. I really appreciate you taking the time, and I really love getting a glimpse of your world and who you are. And small world, we have like a lot of friends in between each other, and now we're
Yeah.
friends. So
Yeah.
that's
Thank you so
awesome.
much. It's been a pleasure and it's been an honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, have a wonderful, fun-filled day, and get to doll making.
Absolutely.
I don't think I'm going to cut out that part about James. I think I'm going to leave it in so James can listen to
Okay.
it.